Welcome to
Every Day is Macaroni.
I'm Joy Alfred Brand.
And I'm Juliet Connell. And we're the hosts of Everyday Macaroni, the podcast.
This podcast is a look at the lighter side of life, where we talk about our adventures as a modern blended family.
So sit back, relax,
and prepare to have your funny bone tickled. Well, hello, listener. Yes, it's time again for another episode. And tonight, boy, do we have a treat for you. This episode is an extra super double good version of Who Do You Think You Are? Not the official kind, just the homemade version we cooked up in our dining room at Monday night family dinner with a little bit of a Spanish flair. Now, as per usual, we're throwing in a few Macaroni Thunderdome moments, including a quick DNA discussion from my sister Mickey, just for the fun of it. Shout out to her. Wow, this episode, I know you're going to enjoy it. So, let's go ahead and get started by joining Juliet and I as we discuss Lita's recent DNA test results. I think we need to talk about your mother and 23andMe.
Okay. Oh, the 23andMe, yeah.
First of all, before we get started, let's explain a little bit the background of how this all came to be.
The background. Well, my mom has always been fascinated with her family and family history and family tree. She can go back pretty far. So for her, it's a big, exciting sort of thing where you come from.
As we're about to find out, she can go back pretty far on her mother's side.
Mm-hmm. Well, with the 23andMe thing.
I thought that the issue was she wanted to learn more about her father's family.
Right.
And how this started.
For the specific 23andMe, yeah.
Okay.
But she has always researched my grandfather's heritage or whatever, which, by the way, I'm just going to say the 23andMe, for us, it was so boring. Only because, like, my parents scored, 98% Iberian Peninsula. And then when they broke it down to Spain or Portugal, it was 100% Spain. So you're looking at a 2% or a 3% spread on possible things that happened, well before the 1600s or later, for that matter. And then I went, of course, and had it done. And I got the same kind of score because the two of them are so high that what else was I going to get? But anyway, I had bought them the 23andMe kit for Christmas one year. And man, you would have thought I just gave two little kids a bunch of candy because they were so excited. Mm-hmm. So it was interesting and it was fun for them to do.
I think part of the background here is when you bought those kits a couple of years ago, a few years back, that was during the time when those TV shows were starting up. Who Do You Think You Are?
Yeah.
And Finding Your Roots, right?
Yeah.
I love those shows too. I watch them all the time. Mm-hmm. I think they're really interesting. But I think your parents maybe misunderstood a little and they expected that kit that you bought to turn into the same kind of result that these celebrities are getting on Finding Your Roots or Who Do You Think You Are?
Oh, gosh, yeah. I mean, they were thinking, am I related to Ferdinand
Charlemagne?
and Isabella or
Right.
Charlemagne? I mean, yeah, you're right. Because after purchasing them, then that's when my mom was like, wait a minute, these are only your maternal line. What about your
Right.
paternal? And I was like, what?
A lot of confusion about that.
Yeah,
a lot.
lots of confusion, lots of...
You got to hear what she has to say.
Him and I are the different.
No, it was not different. He was 98% or 96% Iberian Peninsula, and you were 98% Iberian Peninsula.
Yeah, but one of you had something
And then
else.
One had a 1% of Chinese.
I have
yeah, you had Asian something. I don't know what it was. So we
I
were saying
have
Let me get him.
this island,
In Hawaii.
Fantasy Island?
Hawaii.
Italian.
Sicily or Sardinia or something.
Let me
1%.
see.
it was
If I can get him.
1%, which doesn't matter.
No, the error.
Yeah.
So
The
the
error is
errors.
probably as much as the
Yeah.
difference, so they're
Yeah,
the same.
so it doesn't matter.
The problem
same
with
with you
those
guys.
things is that they tell you about the mother, but they doesn't say anything about the father. All right?
That's how mitochondrial DNA works.
Okay?
It's a matriarchal
And that
thing.
is nonsense.
No.
There's a different way.
Explain it to her.
What? Mitochondrial DNA?
Yeah.
It's passed through mother to child.
That's
It's-
right.
it's pretty self-explanatory.
That's exactly right. In my case, I know everything about on my mother's side.
No. Okay. All right, whatever. I know. I'm deciding whether or not I want to jump in on
Right.
this.
She's saying in the book, in the results that they gave her, they
Oh,
only talked about
they're not talking
the
about
mother's
I see
the
what you're
mother's
saying.
side.
Yeah.
In my mother's side, I know
Then-
parents, grandparents, but that is why you are paying
You got the
for
book?
them to find out.
You got the book?
That's right.
No,
It
he
seems that way
refers because
with all this stuff.
we see that program that they have.
Who do you
with-
think you are, or whatever?
And they find out everything. You know, father, mother,
Okay.
where they come. But that costs you.
He's saying that if you do that, it's going to cost you a lot.
I don't know that it's possible for you to do that.
No, I'm sure
Yeah,
you can
it
hire
is.
people to do this.
It like ropes you in. Like
I
right
know.
now, I don't want to be part of this. I don't want to talk
family
about
tree.
it, and then slowly someone's going to say something stupid, and I'll be like,
who was your father? Who your father
Here I
was
go.
so
Okay.
what? He born in that place with and his father and his father and so your grandfather was descended from I don't know George Washington.
If they can
or
follow the
whatever.
paper trail, yes.
Yeah, and sometimes
they
they
can't.
can't.
I'm telling you,
It
my
comes
mom's
to a
waiting
point
to
and
see if
says,
she's,
well,
and
and then
then
we
Ferdinand
don't-
or Isabella's.
Christopher Columbus, because you know he's
in those
Spanish.
days,
That's
too,
right.
Now, listener, like any good story, there are a few plot twists that are taking shape. First of all, we have Al and Lita thinking that the 23andMe kits are like TV shows in a box, right? Al gets it, but Lita still doesn't entirely understand what's going on, which leads to the next level of confusion, and that is, whose DNA are we talking about? Lita's mother's DNA or her father's DNA? I'm getting a headache here. As usual, things are getting kind of complicated, and it takes Juliet to start sorting it out. Always the level-headed one. So, in the next part of the clip, you see that Lita has brought out the little booklet of results she got from 23andMe, and Juliet has started reading the booklet and figuring out what's going on. And let me take this opportunity to give a shout-out to 23andMe. Here is your shameless, non-sponsored advertising plug. For a service that just tests your DNA and doesn't tell you where your 8 times great-grandfather shopped for toothpaste, I have to say, they do a pretty good job. So, 2 snaps and a fake chocolate chip cookie to 23andMe. Whoop! Now, at this point, Ron has moved on to talking about Caitlin's upcoming birthday. Juliet is still reading the booklet, trying to figure out how to explain the 23andMe results to Lita.
Okay.
But here's
Yeah,
a real
the
question.
technology.
Caitlin's
We can
birthday's
rebuild it.
coming up.
Oh yeah. That's true.
That is true. It's a fact. It comes up every year.
Every month.
Oh,
they-
man.
Say- Oh, yeah, you're right. That's also a fact.
Okay,
Very
so
good.
I'm quiet because right
So,
now I'm reading
Right.
that
I'm
book.
thinking
she
You're
just
quick
handed
draw
me.
Googling. Oh, no,
We'll,
you're reading the book.
pull
Yeah.
Yeah.
Together,
Yeah.
and we buy
I'm trying to
her
figure
a
out what
gift
it is that she's
that I think
talking
she would
about.
like.
That
Oh, boy.
that's-
What is it for
It's
who?
okay with
A
us.
gift for who?
Kaylan.
Oh, a gift for Kaylin.
Yes.
Shouts down the
It's
table.
going to-
Vanilla.
So-
cake.
Okay, we're coming to the point where you are putting it all together.
Yeah.
See, here it is.
Now I'm starting to piece it together.
You're 99% European, Spanish, Portuguese, right? And here you are Chinese. I knew I saw Asia on your thing, but it's look at how little the percentage is.
Broadly Asian and Southeast Asian. Yeah, it could be Laos.
Look, any
Cambodian.
of these little orange area.
And all right, it's in my mother's side.
Vietnamese.
Before I forget,
This is what's
this whole mitochondrial DNA does not mean that they just take mitochondrial DNA from your mother. They're also extracting the mitochondrial DNA from Papa's mother. Do you see what I'm saying? He,
For all the
all
mothers,
men and women have both mitochondrial DNA from their mothers.
Look at your magic phone.
He has DNA
Qué
from
bien
his
hablas
mother.
inglés.
Look, your dad has also
Did she say, "Why are you speaking
mitochondrial
English?"
DNA
Yeah.
from his mother.
Who's that?
Your father.
Oh.
Your father's made up of 2 people, right?
Okay, wait a
Well,
second. Wait.
Everybody.
So what's she saying there? Because to me, it sounds like she's saying, "Why are you speaking English?"
No, I think she's like, wow, how well you speak English.
Well, first of all, A, you do speak English well. And B, I wonder if she understands how ironic it is that we're talking about her DNA and she's speaking Spanish about you speaking English.
I know. No, you know what it is that, and right there, I sound like I'm annoyed, which I probably was. But the fact of the matter is that you have to, when you want them to understand something, you have to start talking really, really clearly, really loud, because the
hearing aids,
hecklers are all
hecklers,
out there, right? And the rest of the class, the rest of the table all wants to add their 2 cents. And then on top of that, they are hard of hearing, right? And, refuse to buy the hearing aid. So right now I'm trying to tell her that no, this is from both. It's just coming down from the moms. So the moms on your dad's side and the moms on your mom's side. Both your mother and your father had moms. And this is where the DNA comes from, where or the results come from. Because she was only thinking mitochondrial DNA is mother. So she's only going to know her roots, so to speak, from her mother's side. Right.
There's a complex level of confusion going on here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because she's
that is
really
assisted by the fact that they enjoy primetime television.
I know. They get the majority of their stuff from primetime television.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes.
And the funny thing is that they know, too. They're like, oh, no, we don't listen to that junk for this and that. And then they watch a show and then they totally believe it. You're
totally
just like,
believe it.
no. Yeah, no, they're definitely skewed. I mean, granted, their world has just gotten a lot smaller for any retiree out there because of COVID. And also, as you get older, you spend more time at home.
That's true.
Your communication with the world is now really focused on what you see on TV.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. And even though you know that just because it's on TV, just because it's on the internet, just because it's in the newspaper, it must be so.
It must be so.
Even though you know that that's not what it's supposed to be, all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I was watching Jerry Springer. And guess what he said? And you're like, oh God, what did he say?
If it's on TV, and not for nothing, but they also have the TV blaring at like 1,000 decibels every time you walk in there. I mean, it's loud. It's super loud.
You know what I should buy them for Christmas? So they refuse to get the hearing aids, right? One, because they're crazy expensive. I mean, I can't believe we can get men on the moon and we still can't figure out certain things like, how to get Medicare to pay for hearing aids. But anyway, they refuse to buy them. So I should buy them a horn. That's what I should do. One of those really curly goat horns for Christmas. Wrap that up and say, here, next family dinner, wear that.
Yeah, you could put it on a special stand and it can be down the center of the table, like a centerpiece.
Oh, no. You hot glue it to a hairband. And then they can put it and put the little end on the ear.
Which your mother has taken to wearing hairbands, which I think is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Well. Okay. Well, there's more funny in this clip. So let's keep this rolling for a minute.
Your dad has also mitochondrial DNA from his mother.
Who's that?
Your father.
Oh.
Your father's made of...
Oh, Ron brings the phone to the table.
It, though.
Yeah, because...
Who I'm getting from is
hello?
from your...
Hello?
He answers like Poirot.
Hang on.
I know. Hello.
Hello?
Okay, go on. Come on,
Okay,
karate chopper.
so just
Right
because I'm getting, when I get my results, I'm going to have his lineage too, and yours, because you had a mother and so did he. So I'm getting both.
Yeah.
It's just that the mitochondrial DNA comes from mothers. It gets dropped off to their
All right.
siblings
Here
from
comes
both
Entonces-
sides.
I think that's discriminatory.
Ron, wait a minute.
Entonces, una cosa. Si yo quiero saber la descendencia...
You know that she doesn't speak Spanish, right?
Oh my goodness.
I was understanding a little bit
Yeah,
of it.
La descendencia de tu padre.
Sí.
Muy bien.
La
Ya te lo
descendencia...
está diciendo.
I'm already telling
Eh,
you. You're getting it through his mother
That's why.
and his grandmother.
Pero espera. Cuando yo veo en televisión...
No, Ma, because they're all on TV, and you guys keep listening
No,
to
no,
whatever's
no.
on TV.
Okay, I know what you're going to say.
That's a different...
¿Sabes tu padre?
Yes.
¿Dónde nació? ¿Dónde trabajó? quiénes eran.
Okay,
Padre
that's a
y no.
paper trail. That's not
Right.
the DNA.
That's
They're
not
not
DNA.
looking at DNA.
Yeah.
They're going
Yeah.
to the churches
Yeah.
and going, oh, this one married this one and had this kid. And then
That's
he
what
got
I
married.
would like
and
to
got,
have.
Well, that is something
That
you
doesn't have
gotta go
anything to do with your DNA.
Yeah.
That has to
No.
do with where people lived and what church they
Yeah.
went to and stuff like that.
Yeah,
If they
you
take
see how a
blood
lot of
This
times-
is only DNA.
If they
That's
take
it.
blood from you, they get your DNA, and they can't say, "Oh, she moved to New Jersey on this year. She was a seamstress. Oh, she worked in a factory. Oh, she had a dog. She had a house." You know, they don't get that from your blood.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
Just,
and there's more.
I don't know how funny all of it is.
I do think the funny part of this conversation is not for nothing, but like there's going to be some big surprise in her genetics.
And then the fact that my mom thought that this was going to be, let's just take your spit and put it in a jar and mail it, and we're going to be able to tell you
That
where
your great
every
great
one
great
of
great
your
grandfather
relatives.
was a cobbler back in 1304
I know. I was like, what? That was the first time I heard that.
In Lower
because I was just
Asia.
like, wait a minute. Yeah, she wants names. She wants to know how she's connected. She's like, wait.
Who was their barber?
that inventor or that millionaire? Wait, they're not on here. Wait, what? I'm like, well,
Okay, are you confused yet? To help us out, I thought I would ask my family's unofficial genealogist to weigh in on the subject. Well, now might be a good time to bring another person into the mix just a little. First, let me introduce you. So this is my oldest sister.
Hello.
Hello. All right. So on this episode, I thought it was appropriate to give you a call because we're talking about DNA and
yeah.
and specifically these 23andMe kits.
I recently did one, and yeah, I've done several different kinds of DNA.
Right. Well, Juliet just did a DNA kit that she's had for a little while, and she got them at the same time Al and Lita had their DNA done through 23andMe. And we had a Monday night family dinner not long ago where we were talking about the DNA results. Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, my mom thought that the results were going to be like, what's that name of that show?
So
Knowing
Al
Your
and Lita,
Roots and
Al and Lita like to watch. It's called Finding Your Roots with Henry Louis Gates, or the other one is Who Do You Think You Are? And Lisa
Right.
Kudrow from Friends produces that show.
Ah.
And she was on it once. So there are those two shows on TV. And of course, Al and Lita, they love to watch those shows. And I do too. I watch them too.
Right. Yeah.
And so they got these kits and they did the DNA test and everything and got the results back. And so there was a little bit of confusion. I don't know. You want to explain that?
So my mom had thought that the results that they were going to get were very similar to the ones that you get on these shows, which
Right.
I'm not quite sure how she crossed that. But so here we were trying to explain, no. This is just a blood test. So that means you're not going to find out that your great-great-great-grandfather was a cobbler or that
In
he-
Southeast Asia.
Exactly. So she was kind of like, wait, what? And then on top of that, she was getting angry because she wanted to find out her lineage through her dad's line, not necessarily her mother's. And when she read that it comes from the mother's or the mitochondrial DNA, she
Right,
kind of
females
took
only
it
have
as though
mitochondrial.
it was coming from her mom only. So here I am trying to explain to her, and I'm getting louder and louder and much more assertive because everyone's throwing in their 2 cents at this table.
Right.
And finally, I'm like, no. Your dad had a mom. Your mom had a mom. That's where the DNA is coming from. It's coming from both sides. Wait, what? Huh?
Well,
Then
so
what?
for the ancestry tests are autosomal, I believe, and that tells you where your
She's not a technical expert, but she just plays one on TV.
it's kind of a family. It tells you who your family are. It gives you your matches, and those matches can be either your mother or father
Right.
on your mother or father's side. And it's funny because with dad and
Oh, that's
Brett
right.
has
You've
actually-
done a bunch of tests on Dad, on Dwight.
I've had dad do 2. I tried to get 23andMe, but he was by himself. And they sent me a message that the kit arrived and it was indeterminate because
Oh,
it had
boy.
like you can't eat an hour before.
Oh, was it
right?
full? Was it full of like peanut butter?
Bojangles.
It may have been full of
Shout out to Bojangles.
Bojangles. You know, your DNA comes back as chicken. So
Dead chicken.
right. So what
Well, and I'm
happened was-
curious. You've done so many tests, right? And varying
Yeah.
degrees of. Have you found that they all are similar with results? You know, like
yeah.
oh, okay, all right. I
Yeah,
was just
so-
curious
so-
because you do one and then the
Mhm.
other, and then all of a sudden you're
Right. So what happens is 23andMe, if you're male, it's your Y DNA. If you're a male, you have Y DNA and mitochondrial. If you're female, you only have mitochondrial. So your mom's test will only speak to her mother's back that line.
Yes,
Okay,
but that's
so
also
your
going to
father-
include their father's
right.
DNA.
it'll include his because he had a mother
Yeah.
and has mitochondrial DNA
Yeah.
in there as well. So the father does not pass on his mitochondrial DNA to their kids.
No, the father has a Y DNA. So Y DNA is the father's. The mitochondrial DNA is the mother's. There's a joke there. But so because it's autosomal, it's not both, but it's sort of both. So when you have
Okay, that's what you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Did you get that, listener? Or are you even more confused than I am? Because yes, I still have a headache and I'm going slightly cross-eyed. Yep, I'm still not sure I entirely understand the whole thing, but we do take our heritage seriously in this family. In fact, we claim quite a few famous people in our gene pool, including, dun dun dun, Christopher Columbus. You'll see what I mean from the following official Macaroni Thunderdome genealogical discussion.
But anyway, that was pretty funny, which kind of leads you to the conversation that we had at another point in time about Columbus. So Christopher Columbus, I don't even know how we got onto the subject, but we're always talking history or something. And I just remember we're all on the same page. We're all talking about Christopher Columbus. Maybe it was Columbus Day. You never know. And her saying, yeah, well, he was a Spaniard. And that at that point, we all kind of stopped right there. And I thought, what? And the funny thing is that my dad will stop talking completely.
Yeah, because he
You know?
doesn't want to dispute. He doesn't want to dispute.
He's just like, uh-oh, there's a disturbance in the force. That's exactly what he is. He's at the end of the table going, oh no. It's battle royale. Here's one opponent, and now here's the other. And there's my mom up there doing her little dance. No, he's Spanish. And I'm like, no, he was Italian. What? No, we learned it in class. And I thought, what class was that? And then you look at my dad, and he's like shaking his head like, nope. No, you're not dragging me in on this one.
oh no, because he's got to live with her.
Yeah.
Mhm. I totally get where he's coming from. And this whole thing is like anybody who watched the Mad Max movies, that's what it's like. It's like a fight to the death. It's like you're in that steel cage armed with your facts and quick draw Google. And you better be doing your best to make sure that you're landing your punches, boy.
Well, especially that one. I mean, Columbus? I'm
Well,
like,
no, I knew
what?
for sure.
And then, you know what really killed me? That she says, no, because his name is Cristobal Colon. That's a Spanish name. And I was like, what? That was so funny. I said, no, Mom, you can say names. In English, the last name is church. In Spanish, it's iglesia. I'm like, just because I can say it in Spanish doesn't mean he's a Spanish man.
Listener, I bet you thought I forgot. But here comes the quick draw Google fact check portion of the podcast. You're welcome. Well, in light of the whole Thunderdome nature of our family dynamic, I have quick draw Googled whether or not Christopher Columbus was Italian or Spanish.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we got to give the listeners what they want, and they want to know. Listening minds want to know, right? Inquiring.
really?
Yes. I don't know. So they found some bones in some tomb somewhere. I don't want to read the whole thing. But
Well, he's buried, I think, in Spain. But
just a minute. So DNA tests in 2003 established that bones in a tomb in the Cathedral of Seville, I don't know, you pronounce that differently maybe, but Sevilla, were those of Christopher Columbus.
Right, but what's his DNA going to tell us? I mean, why worried about where he's buried?
Well, because they need to know, first of all, if that's actually Christopher Columbus.
Oh.
And secondly, they can test the DNA and they can see which, gene pool he came from, if he had Spanish genes or Italian genes. Keep up here, Juliet. Come on.
All right.
Okay, so researchers are working with 4 small bone fragments from Columbus, 7 bone fragments and a tooth from his son Hernando, and a dozen bone fragments in poor condition from his brother Diego. And this guy says he believes the generally accepted theory that Columbus was from Genoa, but the project aims to resolve...
You mean Genoa?
Yes. Did I say it wrong?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. All right, you got me.
Ding, 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 ding.
Genoa. Okay, but he believes that the generally accepted theory that Columbus was from Genoa. But the project aims to resolve some mysteries and contradictions in the historical record and obtain as much information as possible.
Who the heck ever thought he was from Spain in the first place? Why are they contesting that?
Because
they all know that he was from... They said that he's from Genoa. Or Genoa.
Oh, smart ass. Okay, you got me one time.
I know. I'm going to ride this one. This wave is a big one.
I guess I deserve it. I have teased you mercilessly about some of those things. I guess I deserve it. But I think what they're saying is they're trying to see genetically whether or not he is fully Italian or if he has some Spanish DNA is what they're saying.
Yeah, because I have a feeling that there's some Spaniard out there or several, like my mom, that are like, no. He must be from Spain.
I tell you what, we got to get her talking about this.
Because no.
We have to get her talking about this. Mm-hmm. This has to be on the next time we get together, next Monday. We got to somehow talk about this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And in fact, we did get her talking about it. Here's what Lita had to say about Christopher Columbus being a Spaniard.
Cristobal Colon?
Yeah.
Well, I had very little school, but when I was going to school, it was in Spain. They were saying the Cristobal Colon, it was Spaniard.
He was born in Italy.
Okay, now they're finding out, or whenever they did, that he was born in Italy and he came to Spain. It's very easy to understand because in those years, and even to this day, Spaniards and Italians, it's like brothers and sisters. They were always like that, and I believe after generations in this kid. You have no idea now how many Italians are in Spain.
But wait, there's more.
My mom gets really serious about it. Like, you have to handle it very gingerly when you're trying to tell my mom she's wrong, even though she's clearly wrong. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can have a picture. You could have Google up there. You can have the World Book Encyclopedia open, and she's still going to fight you on it.
That's right.
I don't know. I don't know if that Webster's dictionary was right. Mm-hmm. Or something. She'll have to mull it over a little bit and then think about it again and then come back to you.
But it turns out that there's actually some...
No, it doesn't. It doesn't turn out that there is some nothing. Everybody knows that he was born in Italy. And those people that think he is a Spaniard,
no,
obviously live in Spain.
That's not what they're saying. That's not what they're saying.
What?
They're questioning his actual DNA composition is what they're saying.
So, listener out there, so just imagine that this is how Monday night dinners go, except you got like 5 other people there and a whole bunch of yelling.
And now, back to the quick draw Google portion of the episode.
I can't remember the story. Either Italy didn't have the money to send him, on his little voyage, or no one believed him.
So it says that Columbus died on May 20th, 1506, and was buried in the Spanish city of, I'm going to butcher this one. Valladolid. I don't know if I said that right.
Valladolid?
Though he had asked to be buried in the Americas. So he did not get his wish. He's buried in Spain.
He didn't make it to the United States. Unless he made it to the tip of Florida or something like that. But I thought he was in like,
Just
I
a
don't
minute.
know. I think
Quick Draw Google will answer this question. Because it's been 20 years since I studied history, and I didn't study the explorers. Okay, but I do want to point out that you are, in fact, correct. Ding, 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 ding.
Yay.
He did not actually discover North America.
Right.
He was the first European to sight the Bahamas archipelago, and then the island later named Hispaniola, now split into Haiti and the Dominican Republic.
Mm-hmm.
On subsequent voyages, he went farther south to Central and South America, but he never got close to what is now called the United States.
Yeah.
Oh, Juliet.
I know.
Look at that. You win the Thunderdome today.
Well, you know.
You get to you get to take home that chocolate chip cookie.
It was all that studying for the praxis.
True. Yes. Much better at that than me.
Yeah.
Although I have taken my fair share of tests. Just saying. And most of them history tests. And now we go to Al for a final word on the subject of DNA.
Somebody is sometimes, for what I think,
Yeah.
it doesn't pay him sometimes.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe your grandfather was in jail for
He was
so
a
many
healer.
times.
Oh my
He could
God.
have been, you know.
You never know.
Okay, so what does that have to do with your what?
I say sometimes it doesn't pay to find out.
You're saying sometimes you may uncover things that you don't want to
It's
uncover.
right.
Yeah.
That's
That's exactly.
Sometimes you got to explain things to her, you know?
Yes, otherwise they fly over her head.
Wow. Wow.
Listener, you probably have a headache after hearing all us armchair experts throwing in our 2 cents about how DNA works. I know I need to take an aspirin after putting this episode together. However, I will say that Al is right on one point. Sometimes you learn things when you're looking into your family history that might surprise you. So tread lightly, my fellow noodles. Or you could find out you too are distantly related to the family of badgers that lives under Dwight's front porch. In fact, it turns out my sister unearthed some information about our family that some may consider scandalous. I, however, am totally unconcerned that I could be distantly related to, say, for example, the man from Mars, or that I share 99.9% of the same DNA as a banana. In fact, that would explain a lot about my family. Anywho, that's a story for another time. For now, I'm going to give a shout out to my sister for being on the episode, shout out to myself for an exceptional quick draw Google fact check, and remind you that no matter where you go, there you are. This has been a public service announcement from the committee to make Christopher Columbus a banana. I hope you enjoyed listening and sharing a laugh or two with us. Stay tuned for more Everyday Macaroni adventures on future podcast episodes. And if you want to see some pictures of us, you can follow us on Instagram by searching @EverydayMacaroni or #EverydayMacaroni. In fact, you should be able to find us on YouTube soon. Just search Everyday Macaroni on YouTube and our new channel should pop up. If you want to shop for some fun macaroni merch, head over to everydaymacaroni.com. Don't forget, if you have a blended family story to share, email us at info@everydaymacaroni.com and put the word share in the subject line. Your story might end up on a future episode, and how fun would that be? Finally, don't forget to give us a good review and download your favorite episodes. A share wouldn't hurt either. The more interaction we get for the podcast, the more episodes we can post. Again, thanks for listening, and join us for the next episode of
Every day.